Hello, and welcome to the Global Executive Training and Development Association podcast with Dr. Kamal Ranasinghe. Today on Global Reflections, Dr. Ranasinghe will be answering some questions for us that have been submitted by viewers like yourself. The next question asks, I was reading an article recently in the Wall Street Journal that suggested that anybody could become a global expat. And it said you only need to apply and the company will teach you the language wherever it is and prepare you for living overseas. Is that a reality?
No, it isn't a reality. Again, there's this extraordinary presumption, this entitlement, where just because you want to go, somehow there's a belief that companies must make it possible for you to go. Companies don't have to do that. Companies need to look for the very best and brightest to serve their purposes to their benefit in specific target countries. Companies are not stupid. They won't send someone who's a linguist in Spanish to function in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. They will look for someone who's an expert in Mongolia, who has the language off pat. So instantly there is a sifting process. What you're speaking to, I think, is the fact that there is an environment of thought that somehow just because someone wants to, just because someone is employed by a company and the company has global operations, that somehow they seem to think that they are A, entitled to get an overseas position, and B, apart from being entitled, they think the company should train them, teach them, spend money to prepare them, and then send them. And frankly, I am constantly amazed at this idea. I'm amazed at this idea. I can't think of any circumstance where any Secretary of State of any state of this great union, any of the 50 states, if you were to apply to incorporate a company which has global ambitions, and you wrote into your memorandum of articles that your express intent was to take your shareholders' money and use that shareholders' money to prepare people who are absolutely unprepared for your global endeavor, to prepare them, to train them, to do this, to do that, to do the other, before you send them out, if I was a Secretary of State, I would, fall over laughing. Directors of any corporation vested in the United States have a fiduciary responsibility under law. And that responsibility is multifaceted, but at its very heart is to engender annually enhancing, as much as possible, benefits which should accrue to the share owners of the corporation. By dint of the efforts of, how should I put this diplomatically, probably misguided text authors, far too many of my much esteemed faculty colleagues, an idea has arisen that the word social responsibility, nurturing your human capital, somehow means that an American corporation needs to bleed out the side, bleed financially out the side. No American corporation needs to do that. On the other hand, every American employee, every American professional, those who have their head screwed on correct, need to realize that it is that inextricably interlinked global environment that I'm speaking to. And if it is, we have 318 million or so people in the United States, and there are billions more overseas. We have huge buying populations overseas. We have friendly nations where all of these American executives, all of these professionals, all of these younger or older professionals can do an enormous amount of good for globally ambitious American companies. But the problem is, it shouldn't be that the company needs to train you. What happened to your earlier education? What did you do in your degree programs? Did you actually decide to actively study languages? Are you any good at it? Have you look to your friends, amongst your friends? Go on, off you go. Go amongst your friends. Who are they all curtailed to one particular racial group? Have you traveled? Do you spend any of your holiday money actually going and visiting countries and breathing it in through the pores and listening to the cadence of the languages? You know, this idea of going global is all very well and good, but there will be places in the world that you just don't like, and that's fine, or not fine, but it's understandable. Go and see. I do understand that the United States of America is such a large country. It's huge. And you have this extraordinary infrastructure of road and rail and air transport, and there's so much to see in the United States of America. But quite frankly, if you are interested, whilst absorbing all that this great country has to offer early on, maybe you should try and see what the rest of the world is like. You don't just sit and wait and expect somebody else to pay for you to get a position.
If someone really is interested in traveling and going overseas, what sort of opportunities are out there for them?
Tons and tons of opportunities. This is not an American malaise. This is a malaise in everybody, in every nation. When you look for study options, when you look for work opportunities, when you look for employment, we obviously have a tendency to look for those that are closer to home. We start with the town where we live. When we look at universities, we look at the closest university, because there are all kind of financial issues that arise. It's obviously cheaper to be closer to an institution of higher learning that is nearby. If you can get a job in your own town, it obviously solves so many issues. But in a circumstance where millions of people are unemployed, you need to expand the range of where you're looking. And here the issues arise. Again, that environment of thought. And I probably unwisely blame the media for creating an environment of thought which has the rest of the world hating you. In all my travels, I've never actually met anybody who's actually come up to me and stopped me and say, "You have a home in America, I hate Americans." No one's actually come and said that. Many of them have evinced surprise at some of the people that we in the West elect to high office, but no one has actually come up to me and said, "I hate Americans." Now, it might be because they know they'll probably be smacked, but there is this environment that everybody out there hates you. We don't look. Let me just digress a minute. For instance, I think there is an effort to get me to talk about women, which is a really foolish thing to do, but not right now, in the future. American female executives, apart from being the most underutilized in the United States of America, interestingly, are more sought after overseas than they are at home. And this is displayed by the number of American female executives who hold the senior-most positions in world-beating organizations overseas. The opportunities are there. You need to look. As you would apply for a job here, you need to apply for a job further afield. The hurdles are often our own. People always put up barriers when they talk to me about this. They say, I've got children, I've got this, I've got that, oh God, I don't know about these, aren't they all, strange and whatever. Well, have a look, at yourself. There are many strange people here. Children should never be a barrier. The very, very best thing you can do for any child in the formative years is to take them global. The very, very best thing.
Thank you for watching Q&A with Dr. R. If you have any questions for us, or if you would like to learn more, please visit the GETDA website at www.globalexecutives.org. Join us again for another episode of Global Reflections. On behalf of Dr. Ranasinghe, thank you for watching.